You know, the last video that I made was on sort of like it was on seedy places and seedy things, and what does it mean for something to be seedy? And I'm not sure everything in there really qualified as seedy. Again, you know it when you see it. It's like with pornography. You know something's seedy when you see it. You know something's pornographic when you see it. But I started looking at this one, Can Collectors, and mercifully, there's only 15 photos in it, so I won't go through too much of it. I'll go through each of the pictures, but I want to say something before I go through the photos, which is that these photos were basically all taken in like 2008 to maybe 2010 or 2011, and they were during the Great Recession, and I, in my late 20s, early 30s, rode that Great Recession out. I was lucky enough to have a pretty low-paying job that had health insurance, but just enough that I could pay my rent, pay off my student loans, and feed myself. But I knew people at that time, including attorney friends of mine, that were just ravaged by the whole thing. And I remember in the months that led up, and certainly that followed the Great Recession, there were a lot of people in my, I guess you'd say my hometown, Albany, New York, that were collecting cans, like more so than normal. And I'd see it a lot. And these were just some of the pictures that I had taken around that time of people, collecting cans. Here's a guy. This was October 8th, 2008. This was right before the Great Recession really hit. And we had been hearing for about a year, that the bottom was about to fall out. And I think a lot of people that are on the low end of the workforce, and I don't mean to say that condescendingly, but people who maybe are not plugged in or don't have a highly skilled trade, those are sort of the first people to peel off when the economy tanks. And so we would see, or I would see, a lot of people, like maybe people who had blue-collar jobs or service industry jobs, collecting cans, probably while still maybe working part-time. We'd see it around, just dudes day-to-day, collecting cans. This guy was outside of a bus station in Albany, collecting cans midday. He had his coffee cup with him, big old coffee cup right there. Cigarette in his hand, denim jacket, sneakers, doing what he had to do to get by. This was November 11th, 2008. I think that's the day that Barack Obama was elected. This dude I used to see around when I'd walk into work. This was a couple months before, August 2008. He was a can collector. I haven't seen him in a while. I mean, these photos are from like 14 years ago. This one's kind of interesting. November 2008. You look at this guy. He was collecting cans on Central Avenue in Albany and about to run into a Beamer. Maybe he wanted to get a lawsuit going there. I shouldn't laugh. I mean, this was spring 2010, and actually, I think the year before, the state legislature had done a bill that had made it a little bit more lucrative for people who collected cans. It like authorized these places to have to take back cans, any amount of cans. So people would grab like hundreds of cans and bike with them, or put them in baskets and bring them back and make like the 5 cents deposit off of them. And 100 cans, I don't know, maybe that's $5. I don't know, but desperate times, desperate measures. The Great Recession really, really walloped people here. This was before the recession hit, but again, I mean, the headwinds of the recession were already coming. This was June 2008. It's an older dude, kind of like his shirt, actually. I think he was a can collector. Like, he was probably starting out the day. This shot was in the morning time, I believe. Not totally sure. There's EXIF data, but I'm not going to go and pull that up. I mean, you'd see this a lot. Like, people just collecting cans. People kind of on the margins at the end of the line. Another guy, this was around July 2008, collecting cans. Here's a guy right outside of the New York State Capitol in July 2010, collecting cans. I mean, you'd see people go into the to these trash cans right here, just to go and pull cans out and make whatever they could off of it. This April 2010, you can see, I mean, there's probably maybe 50, somewhere between 50 and 100 cans this dude's bringing in. I'm trying to remember, at 5 cents. That's not many. That's $5. $5 probably right there in cans in 2010. But people had to do what they had to do. Let me go back here for a second, because I actually remember this photo well. This was a chilly day in spring 2010, and I remember this guy bringing cans up. He's on the other side of the state capitol. I'm waiting for a bus to get home. You got people in that building making deals worth millions and millions of dollars, and people right outside just scrounging to get by. I mean, who knows what that can get you? It's not going to get you much more than a meal. This guy, I remember him. I just remember the shot, actually. I thought it was summertime. It was probably hot. I remember summer 2009 was really hot. And I liked his flair. I liked his style. He had the shirtless, wearing the mullet, and just kind of thought that was an interesting way to go about, collecting your cans. And let me see what else I can find. Another dude, fall of 2008, before the bottom dropped out, collecting cans. Here's a lady, September 2009, almost a year into the Great Recession, collecting cans near a price chopper. There's another guy collecting cans. I mean, this was pretty common in Albany back then, and just a thing that you saw all the time. So anyways, I wanted to thank you if you got all the way through this video. Definitely something that I took a lot of pictures of. I hope not condescendingly. I think it was more just to document the way things were back then. And we could be heading back into another recession. I could be a can collector at some point, except I don't have the benefit of living in Albany right now. So I'd have to collect the seltzer cans that my wife and I get. Anyways, thanks for watching. God bless.